class, welcome back to Pauline Theology and Missions. I hope everyone is doing well today. In today's lecture, we're going to be looking at the background of Saul's life, and we're going to be calling him Saul until his transition to Paul in the New Testament. So the first couple of PowerPoints, we'll be talking about Saul, and of course you can change it, Saul, Paul, but we'll be looking at Saul and the background of his life. Stay tuned for the PowerPoint. Okay, class, we're now going to move into the PowerPoint portion of this lecture, and we'll be looking at Saul and his background. And this may be familiar to you just from knowing it or the book of Acts or whatever, but his early life. Okay, so Saul was born in Tarsus. He was born sometime between the year 1 and 10 AD. And the reason we get this is based on Paul calling himself the quote-unquote the aged or the old man. In Philemon verse 9, he refers to himself as this, and that term that is used in that verse, that term would be used for somebody that is someone that's 50 years old or older. And so if it's like 50 years old and he dies in 63 AD, it would be sometime in between 1 and 10 AD he would be born based on that verse. So we kind of backtrack from that and we find the date range 1 to 10 AD. Tarsus is in Cilicia, which is in today's south central Turkey. So that's where Saul was born, and that was the capital of the province, and it was well known as a cultural center. It would have been an area that many people would travel through, and it was a cultural center of the area. In Acts 22:3a, the New King James Version, Luke records this. Paul is saying, "I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia." Okay, so Saul was born in Tarsus, which is in Cilicia, which is in today's south central Turkey, and that is the capital of the province, and it's a well-known cultural center. So this has been an area where a lot of trade and travel, kind of like a crossroads where people will be moving through. We see the evidence right there in the scripture where he's from. Continuing on with his early life, Paul's Jewish name was Saul, and he was most likely named after the first king of Israel, which was Saul, and his parents seem to have been observant Jews. He was from the tribe of Benjamin, and he was circumcised on the 8th day. And that is found in Philippians 3:5. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, concerning the law, a Pharisee. So we see Saul's early life. Also his education. His education occurred in Jerusalem, and he studied under Rabbi Gamaliel, a famous and highly educated rabbi. And we see a picture on the right-hand side by Rembrandt, 1645 AD, and it's just titled Old Rabbi, but most believe that it's the subject matter is of Gamaliel. In Acts 22:3, Paul says, "I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city," meaning Jerusalem, "in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our fathers' law, and was zealous towards God as you all are today." And that's Acts 22:3. So basically, under Gamaliel, and when he completed his education, Saul would have earned basically the equivalent of a PhD in Old Testament, because that was his whole focus, was to be trained under this master so that he would be the Hebrew of Hebrews and the Pharisees of the Pharisees concerning the law. Just very, very strict to the law. So he would have been very well educated in the Jewish law. Under Judaism, he was a member of the Pharisee party, and he was a prominent leader of the Jews. And we find that in Galatians 1:14. "And I advanced in Judaism beyond many of my contemporaries in my own nation," meaning the Jews, "being more exceedingly zealous for the traditions of my fathers." And that's Galatians 1:14. So we see that not only is he a member of the Pharisaical party, but he was also a leader. He surpassed other people of his contemporaries. He surpassed them and to become a leader. He was zealous to persecute Christians, and we know as a young man, it pleased Saul to be at the stoning of Stephen. And after the stoning of Stephen, there would be an increase in persecution, which Saul would have been readily available to go out and persecute the Christians. Okay, so that's just a quick look at Saul's background. I'll see you in a second. All right, class, that's it for today. Next time we'll be looking at Saul and his salvation and baptism. See you then.